Hi everyone, and thanks for joining Cherie and myself on the fluffy couch. I'm Cherie, and it's always an honor and a privilege to be with you, sharing with you wisdom and insights and guiding you on your journey to greater health, healing and happiness. And if it's your first time with us, please, if you enjoy what I'm sharing with you, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos with your friends and family, because that's the way we start to heal the world, one video, one step, one share at a time, and we're all here to guide and help one another. So today we're going to journey through some of the energy bodies, and I've been working with the energy bodies for a long time with my work. You know, I work with the chakras, I work with the auric field, I work with the physical body. I also work with the energy bodies outside of our physical bodies. And a lot of the time people don't really know what that's all about, or they're like, oh yeah, it's that woohoo thing, or you know, it's that thing I don't really know about because, you know, I'm in this physical form and that's what I know about. But really, you know, what I'm sharing with you is information that is really present and is a part of our everyday life. And I feel like it's important that we know just even a little bit about what energy is, because after all, everything we touch, eat, sit on, everything we do, everything we are, is energy, and everything is vibrating at a different frequency. So whether you think it's woohoo or whatever you think it is, that's okay, but just know everything is energy, everything is vibrating a different frequency. Some things are vibrating at frequencies that we're unable to see with the naked eye, and then other things are vibrating at lower, more dense frequencies where we're able to see it with our physical eyes. So this camera, this tripod, this couch, beautiful little Chewie that's next to me here that you can't see, who's fast asleep and snuggled up, our physical bodies, you know, one another, these lights, you know, they're all vibrating at a frequency, so we're able to see them with the naked eye. When it comes to the energy bodies that surround our physical body, we can't see that in every day. There are people that can see auras and see colors around people's heads, and I'm not here to teach you about that today, but the energy bodies, you know, it's not something we go down the street and we could see someone glowing with a blue light or a yellow light or a red light. So the energy bodies are a little bit more difficult to see with the naked eye. When I was coming to do my research about this and share this information with you, it's such a complex quantum subject that I really needed to kind of ground it in and sit with it. And I recorded this video a few times, and I was like, it's missing something. The information isn't quite right. And it's not that I was striving for perfectionism. I want to be able to share with you information that is simple and easy to follow, and that you're able to kind of go away with a deeper understanding without it being so complex and over your head, that it's so far over your head that you think, oh God, what the hell is she waffling on about? So I thought, okay, how can I ground this information in? So, because this is what I do with my clients. It's like, how can we ground it in? How can we make it tangible? How can we make it realistic and so people are able to understand it more simply and more easily without having to have a quantum physics degree. So I have made some notes, and I will use those notes in this video. I'm normally pretty good and I don't need the notes, but I am actually going to follow some of my notes because I'd like to make sure that this is presented really clearly, that you understand. And again, if you've got any questions, all you have to do is drop something in the comments below. You can shoot me an email and connect through on the website, and I'm always available on social media. So just before we start, if you really like this channel, I'd love you to subscribe. Just click the subscribe button below, and again, please share it with your friends and family. So in the work that I do with clients, I talk about the physical body, the energy body or energetic body, the emotional, mental and spiritual, in that order. And they do ripple out, as I said, from where I started, they ripple out in that order. Now there are more energy bodies, and there is different ways of looking at them. Some texts sort of describe them in a different way, and other texts describe them in another way. And that's really down to cultural learnings or preferences, or where that certain belief of chakras came from in the world. So it does vary slightly. I've got a lot of books and information on chakras and energy bodies, and when you're going through the text, it can be quite complicated. We don't need to complicate it. Let's keep it nice and simple. So I talk about the 5 bodies and aligning the 5 bodies of our physical, energetic, emotional, mental and spiritual. And I think that keeps it nice and clear, and I feel like it keeps it really clean. It keeps it kind of easy to follow. And so we've got our physical body, our physical existence, the body that we live in. We're in physical form. We know how we are in our physicality. But our energy bodies play a really important role on how we show up and how we function in the world. And you'll see me now just chatting about this and talking to you about what are the differences and how this plays an important part in our life. So I won't go too much into the physical. What I'd like to start with is the energy body that sits very close to the skin, and it's the etheric body. I call it the energy body. It is responsible for our life force, our chi, for running through our physical form, and it forms the blueprint of our energy systems and our energy body, and it forms the blueprint of who we are. And so it's a very important energy body that if it wasn't there, we would cease to function and exist. So it's a very, very important energy body. It is connected in with our root chakra. The color is red, and it shows up as red if you're reading text or going through different books. It'll show up as red in color, connecting with our base or root chakra. So it's our connection with all our survival, our functioning, our organs, our body, our energy systems, everything. It plays a crucial role, and it's that gateway between not only our physical but the other energy bodies. Now, as we move through the different energy bodies, one is vibrating faster than the other at a higher frequency. So here we are in our physical form, we're vibrating at a particular frequency. And then as you go out to the energy body or the etheric body, that's vibrating faster or a higher frequency than the physical body. Then as we move out again, emotional bodies vibrating higher than the etheric body and faster, and so on and so on and so on. So as we move out from the energy or etheric body that is balancing all our life force energy and is responsible for all our flow, we move into the emotional subtle energy body. And that sits about 1 to 3 inches from our physical body. It sits above next to the etheric body. And it's important to note here that this is not like a clunky kind of transition between bodies. They're all working really harmoniously with one another. They're working in conjunction with one another, and they all need one another to operate and to be fully functional. So when we move into the emotional body, it's exactly what it is. It's dealing with all our emotions. It's holding all our emotional energy, all our feelings that have come through from past lives, emotions from traumas, and in here we hold so much of how we show up in the world in situations with people, places and things. So sometimes what can happen, and I don't know if you've had this happen to you before. I know I've had this happen to me, where you could be somewhere and you're feeling totally fine, and then all of a sudden you feel this like anger or this frustration or an overwhelming feeling of love or excitement, and you kind of like think, sure, they came out of nowhere. Where has that come from? And so what happens is, because on the emotional level, we're now starting to move out of 3D, the 3D dimension. So we're sitting outside of that now, where the emotional subtle body starts. And so what that means is there's no concept of time in the emotional body. There's no concept of oh, right now it's 12 o'clock. So what happens is if something's sitting in there and it just decides it wants to come through, it can come through as like an emotional outburst, out of the blue, out of nowhere, and then in 5 minutes you're feeling okay. So when we work on our emotions, and we're actually doing the energetic healing work around balancing and aligning our emotions, we're able to cultivate more emotional intelligence in our lives. It doesn't end up just being this pop random emotions popping in and out. And so if we're able to work on our energy bodies, that's really going to filter through. It's going to filter through into everything that we do in every day. And same with all the bodies, whatever we're doing on whatever level we're working on. And this is why I believe it's so important to work on every single subtle emotional body to bring about great balance and really, really profound healing. So we've got the emotional body. This correlates with the sacral. So it's the sacral chakra. I just want to make sure I'm right. Yeah, I was right. I don't know, I had a brain freeze there. Sacral chakra, the color is orange, and so anything that's coming through on that emotional body is going to filter through, and it's coming through in that sacral chakra and in that area of our body, that emotion, really feeling that coming through. So interesting, it's I just think back times in my life where I was probably quite emotionally charged, and how if I knew then what I know now, it's great in hindsight, right? So moving on to the mental. Now, we've got the lower mental, which is the solar plexus, and then we've got the higher mental body. And I'm simplifying things here, so I like to group things up. So that the mental energy body separates kind of into two components. And so we've got the lower mental, which is at the solar plexus, like I said. And this is all about our thought patterns and our mental processes. And what is identified here around the solar plexus, it's really important to have an understanding of why we're thinking, or how we're thinking, why we're thinking, because our thoughts then manifest into our physical world. So if we're thinking about negative things, and we've got negative patterns playing out, we're going to receive more of that in our physical existence. And so if we can keep a handle on what's playing out mentally, whether it's negative or positive or something in between, just understanding what's happening with our thoughts, and that will also help us to balance and align our solar plexus, and to also start to manifest more of what we want in our physical existence on planet Earth. Now, the higher mental body is around the heart chakra. And so the heart is the bridge between the lower and the upper worlds, the physical and the spiritual. It's a place where if the heart is open, we're more connected to our higher wisdom, our higher truth, our intuition, and our guidance. It's the place where our higher mental body is filtering our past lives and our karmic patterns. So can you see they've all got such an important part to play, and it's not just about working on our physicality. We need to be really looking at our entire energy bodies to really start making some sort of change in our life. So now we're going to move up to the causal body, which is the throat chakra. And there's also like a causal chakra at the back of the head, which you may or may not know about, but it's in connection with those two. We've got the causal body, the soul body, and the integrated spiritual body. And so that means we've got throat, third eye, and crown. Now I like to keep things simple, I'd like to kind of put these three into under the spiritual body, especially as you're coming up third eye and up through the throat, up through the third eye, and then through the crown. And so the causal body, which sits at the throat, this is the gateway to our higher consciousness. And it's the link between our personality and a higher consciousness on this planet. And it can be seen as like 7 concentric circles in rainbow light. I just thought that was amazing. And I had to look at my notes because I wanted to make sure I got that right. It holds everything that is permanent and real to us on the Earth's plane. And it's just, I think for me, I'm just taking a minute just to feel into just how much energy and how much power we have within us and sitting outside of us, how much more we have to work with when we know about this stuff, when we know that we're infinite beings and we are, that when we connect in with this higher guidance and this higher wisdom and connecting in with our soul's journey, that all of a sudden the world just seems so much larger and there's just so much expansion and so much more availability and so much more prosperity. These 3 energy bodies, to me, putting them under spiritual, I feel is really, really important. It's like understanding ourselves spiritually as a being of God. And when I refer to God, it's God, the universe, spirit, source, soul, the infinite, the oneness, whatever you choose to call it. But it's our real divinity and our connection with all that we are once we start reaching those higher realms. And when we start getting out to those outer realms of our aura and our energy body, this is about expansion. So when we're really shining our light and we're really going through life with an open heart, we're able to radiate that out even further. When you're at a party or you're with someone, you're like, wow, you really light up the room. Or, oh, I'm feeling, that person's quite grey and constricted. And you, rightfully so, you'll be tuning into their auric field and you'll be tuning into their energy bodies, and we can feel this. We know on an unconscious level that we're all energy, and we know and we can feel one another. So moving to the third eye and the soul body, it's the essence of your spirit that resides here, and it's part of which is God, which I just spoke about before. It's the home of spiritual visions, and they're filtered down to the soul to be grounded via the lower chakras and allow us to manifest. So just to translate that, when we're connected with our visions, with our insights and what we're seeing and feeling and understanding and knowing for ourselves, and the third eye is positioned here, so it's our visions, our insight, opening that up. If we're able to ground that into our more physical body and ground that in through the lower chakras, then we're able to manifest that in life. We're able to walk and manifest what we envision. So what we see, if we can ground that in and bring it down into physicality, we can manifest that in our life and walk forward. Now the integrated spiritual body is the crown, which is the top of the head. And then there's a merging happening here. So we're talking about 45 centimeters outside of our body. There's a merging of all the energy bodies here. This is where there's this coming together, this essence of who we are. It's all that we are. And it contains all the integrated spiritual principles that an individual may be working with. I just want to note here as well, in these upper chakras and in these upper energy bodies, what sits here as well is our unique spiritual gifts and our uniqueness, and the gifts that we've brought through in this lifetime, brought through with us on a soul level. And they sit there and they basically come through when we're ready. When we're ready and we've done the work and we're doing the work and we're doing walking the talk and we're doing the healing, those gifts will start to drop through when we're ready. You will never ever be given something that you can't handle. You will never ever be presented with something that you're not able to work through. And I know sometimes life lessons can be really tough, but we really sign up for this. When we come through and we birth on planet Earth, we really sign up for this stuff. So without going on and getting too galactic, because I have a tendency of getting quite galactic with things, they're the energy bodies. To me, the most important are, you've got your physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Even though I'm taking some of the theory there and condensing some of the bodies down to keep it simple, they're all connected in with our chakras, and the energy that comes through those energy bodies comes in through the chakras and then connects in with the meridian points within the body. I could really go on about this for hours. It's just amazing. It's a fantastic subject. It really is. And it's a very detailed subject. And you will find different texts vary along the way. I don't want to go too further with this video because I don't want it to be too long. But if you've got questions or you want to connect in with how we can align your energy bodies and get you feeling well and aligned and balanced and start manifesting your life of your dreams, then please reach out and connect with me. It's always an honor to be here. My name's Cherie, and I so look forward to seeing you and being with you soon. And thanks for being here, and also from young Chewie here who's next to me. So bye for now.